So how can tools like Valkyrie and Signet actually bring together OT and IT attack paths? This will of course be based on a few things and anonymized because we can't talk about specific cases we've worked on. But in the past, we've had situations where you start to see activity on an OT side or from an IT asset coming in, right? Things like scanning into an environment or other reaching out via DNS or other protocols from the environment, maybe to an IT source, maybe to others, maybe a maintenance laptop or other thing that moves across. Oftentimes, you'll start in the IT side. And in the past with Signet and Valkyrie, we've had to do that. That started with collecting Windows event logs, with going through registry, a lot of other data to figure out why that original asset is working through things. Once you do that, you then often do work lower in the OT network, saying like, okay, hey, let me get packet captures of the network. Let me look at the other devices that this device is talking to make sure both they're not compromised and that I can get down to the root cause. Oftentimes, this is where the value of having host and network data together really becomes valuable, right? Because you're not going across multiple tools, you're not having to do a ton of manual work outside of using UI or using Kibana to go through it, right? So that correlation and bringing together data often becomes key in there. As cases step up between IT and OT, you're dealing both with higher volumes of data and more data itself, right? So having something like Valkyrie and Signet to where you can actually scale up that level of analysis becomes key both to scale but also to speed. The more data you can handle in a shorter amount of time, the smaller that incident response window is. And if it's tied to an outage or tied to other situation, ultimately that gives you the power to get operations back up safely and save both a lot of time and a lot of money in the cost. So this is the way Valkyrie and Signet are used oftentimes in IT and OT environments. And we've had a few cases certainly where we've seen those massive wins.